Gary King was, for years, one of the most beloved crew members in the entire Below Deck universe. The charming first officer of Below Deck Sailing Yacht, the life of every party, the flirty fan favorite, with the will they won't they saga with Daisy Kelleher that had fans obsessed. And then everything changed. A former production member came forward with disturbing allegations, a Rolling Stone expose dropped, a lawsuit was filed, and Gary went from the franchise's charming heartthrob to one of its most controversial figures. So today we're telling the complete story of Gary King, how he rose to fame, what he's actually accused of, and where things stand now. And because this involves serious allegations against a real person, I'm going to lay out the facts carefully and fairly. Let's get into it. Let's start with the rise, because Gary was genuinely one of the franchise's biggest stars. Gary King joined Below Deck Sailing Yacht in Season 2 as a deckhand, and he was an immediate hit. He was charismatic, funny, hardworking, and easy on the eyes, the kind of personality reality TV is built around. He worked his way up to first officer, and he became the beating heart of Sailing Yacht's social dynamics. Fans loved his energy. He was the guy at the center of every crew night out, every boatmance, every bit of romantic drama. And speaking of romance, Gary's flirtations became a defining feature of the show. He had entanglements with multiple crew members over the years, Allie, Sydney, and others. But the one fans truly obsessed over was his years-long, on-again, off-again tension with Chief Stew Daisy Kelleher. The Gary and Daisy saga was appointment television. Were they going to get together? Were they just friends? The chemistry was undeniable, and it kept viewers hooked season after season. For a good stretch, Gary King was arguably the most popular male cast member in the entire Below Deck franchise. He was a bona fide fan favorite, but behind the scenes, according to serious allegations, a very different story was unfolding. And it began to come to light in August 2023 when Rolling Stone published an expose about Below Deck Sailing Yacht. In that report, a former production member named Samantha Suarez, who worked as a hair and makeup artist and also assisted the talent manager during Season 4, came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct against Gary King. Here's what Suarez alleges, according to the reporting and the later lawsuit. During filming of Season 4 in the summer of 2022, in Sardinia, part of Suarez's job involved assisting cast members while they were sequestered in their rooms due to COVID-19 protocols. She alleges that on July 3, 2022, production instructed her to bring a case of bottled water and snacks to Gary King's hotel room. She says that when she arrived, King, allegedly highly intoxicated and clad only in his underwear, refused to accept the items and insisted she come inside. When she stepped in to place the items down, she alleges that King grabbed her, held her restrained by her upper body and arms, and pressed his entire body against her and would not let her leave. According to the lawsuit, Suarez says she tried to fight her way out, kicking, elbowing, and screaming at him to get off her. She alleges that when she managed to break free and reach the door, King chased her, got both hands on the door, and slammed it shut to keep her trapped. The complaint describes a genuinely frightening scene. Suarez has said she believes she was in serious danger and that the situation was interrupted by a phone call. I'm going to leave the specifics there, out of respect, but these are grave allegations. Now, crucially, Suarez says she reported the incident right away. According to the complaint, she told a co-executive producer and others shortly after it happened, and she detailed the incident in emails to producers and to an HR representative for the parent company of the production company. So this wasn't something raised years later. She says she flagged it immediately, in writing, at the time. And here's a detail from the complaint that became central to the whole controversy. According to the lawsuit, the day after the alleged incident, Suarez was told by the leadership team that King had admitted to everything after a conversation with the showrunner. Now, I want to be careful and precise here. That's an allegation contained in the lawsuit about what Suarez says she was told, but it's a significant claim because it goes to the heart of the accusation that production knew and didn't act appropriately. Because that's the other half of this story, the alleged cover-up. Suarez, along with her boyfriend Gray Duddleston, who worked as a camera operator, alleged that after they spoke out, they faced retaliation. They claimed they were wrongfully terminated and placed on a do not hire list for coming forward. And notably, Gary King continued on the show. He filmed Season 5 of Below Deck Sailing Yacht in the summer of 2023, a full year after Suarez says she reported his alleged behavior. That timeline, the idea that he kept filming while her complaint sat there, is a big part of why this became such a firestorm. The Rolling Stone report also included accounts from other crew members. Some said Suarez told them about the encounter at the time, and one anonymous crew member alleged they constantly witnessed King making other women on set uncomfortable with what they described as his aggressive pursuit of them, saying he was next-level scary with women. So the allegations, per the reporting, weren't weren't limited to a single incident in the eyes of some who worked with him. Now let's talk about the consequences, because they were real. After the Rolling Stone story published in August 2023, Bravo removed Gary King from the marketing materials and promotions for that year's BravoCon, the network's big annual fan convention. That was a genuine, visible distancing. And the premiere of Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 5 was thrown into limbo. The show normally aired every spring. Seasons 1 through 4 all premiered between February and April, but Season 5 didn't premiere until October 2024, a significant and unusual delay that many linked directly to the controversy. Then, in early 2025, the situation escalated legally. Samantha Suarez and Gray Duddleston filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court against Gary King, as well as Bravo, NBC Universal, and the production company 51 Minds Entertainment, among other entities. The lawsuit describes King as a longtime cast member, known drunkard, and serial harasser, and includes allegations of sexual battery, assault, gender violence, a hostile work environment, discrimination, retaliation, and wrongful termination, reportedly 16 counts in total. The suit alleges the network and production company covered up King's alleged misconduct, with the complaint bluntly claiming that the companies know, just as he knows, that he is guilty as sin. This lawsuit is part of what the plaintiff's high-profile attorneys, Brian Friedman and Mark Garagos, have called a broader reality reckoning against the reality TV industry. Now, in fairness, and this matters, these are allegations, and the case is ongoing. At the time of the original Rolling Stone story, King declined to comment. The production side has stated that concerns Suarez raised in July 2022 were investigated at the time, and that action was taken based on the findings. And as of early 2026, the legal battle was still moving through the courts. There were procedural fights, including arguments over whether California's laws even applied to the case, but a court allowed the lawsuit to proceed, so nothing here has been proven in court. Gary King has not been criminally charged. These remain civil allegations that a court has yet to fully rule on. That distinction is important, and I'm not going to declare a verdict that the legal system hasn't reached. So where does that leave Gary King now? His future with the franchise appears to be over. He hasn't been a featured part of the Below Deck Sailing Yacht cast moving forward, and given the pending litigation naming the network itself, a return seems highly unlikely. The charming first officer, who was once one of the most popular people in the entire franchise, has become someone Bravo has quietly distanced itself from. And Below Deck Sailing Yacht itself has faced real uncertainty about its future amid all of this. So let's step back and think about what the complete story of Gary King actually reveals, because it's bigger than one person. Gary's arc, from beloved fan favorite to controversial figure facing serious allegations, is a genuinely uncomfortable case study in how reality TV works. Because here's the disturbing part. For years, fans adored Gary, specifically for the flirty, boundary-pushing, life-of-the-party persona that the show packaged as charming. And according to these allegations, that same persona had a much darker side that some crew members experienced as frightening and predatory. The very thing that made him great television may have masked something serious, and that's the deeper theme of the whole reality reckoning that this case is part of. These shows are built to make certain personalities look fun and charismatic on screen. The edit smooths everything over. The audience falls in love with a character, but behind that character are real crew members, the makeup artists, the camera operators, the assistants, who don't have the fame or the protection, and who, in cases like this, allege they were harmed and then silenced. Samantha Suarez's whole job, as she described it, was to help make the show and its stars look good, and she alleges that when she was harmed by one of those stars, the machine protected the star and discarded her. Here's where I land. The complete story of Gary King is the story of a fan favorite whose charming public image collided with serious, disturbing allegations from behind the scenes. Allegations that are now the subject of an active lawsuit against not just him, but the entire production apparatus that fans never see. It's a reminder that the people we watch and root for on these shows are real people with real private conduct, and that the crew members who make the magic happen are real people too, people who deserve safe workplaces. Whether the courts ultimately find Gary King liable is still to be determined, but the transformation is already complete. The man who was once the beloved heart of Below Deck Sailing Yacht is now one of the most controversial figures the franchise has ever produced, and the show may never be the same because of it. If you or someone you know has been affected by sexual assault or misconduct, the RAINN National Sexual Assault Hotline is available 24/7 at 800-656-HOPE or online at rainn.org. Take care of yourselves out there. I'll see you in the next one.